Our focus on education started in 2011 when Security Bank Foundation became aware of the shortage of classrooms in our public schools.
We would like also to take this opportunity to thank you for your generosity, sir, in providing a spacious classroom for our learners. And we shall repay this by doing our best in providing quality education and a better academic performance of our learners.
We focused our advocacy on education because we believe that education is the greatest equalizer in life, because it will give every person the opportunity to succeed in life, no matter what his or her social background may be, if provided with the proper education. Security Bank Foundation is donating and formally turned over 2-story 4 classrooms each to the Ayusan Ora Elementary School, the Ilocos Sur National High School, and the Bigan Central School for a total of 12 classrooms.
And we are very happy that through the years, hindi nagsawa ang Security Bank. Patuloy rin po ang proyekto po ito at matutulungan po talaga ang mga estudyante natin sa Ayusan Pawa Elementary School, sa Bigan Central School, at sa Ilocos Sur National High School.
We are very lucky indeed because you are here with us, helping us, supporting us all throughout the way. Our school children can now have classrooms which are conducive to learning.
Security Bank will help create a brighter tomorrow for the next generation of Filipinos through better education.
I would like to take this opportunity to thank Security Bank Foundation Incorporated for the 2-story with 8 classrooms building. This has been of great help to the community, especially to our learners, that they will not be overcrowded in their classrooms.
Together with the students of Santa Monica High School, Division of Puerto Princesa City, owe deep sense of gratitude to the Security Bank Foundation Incorporated for the 2-story HCL school building to have conducive learning environment and a great factor to attain the vision of acquiring quality basic education of Santa Monica High School learners.
granting me my scholarship and helping us with my education.
More than anything, what's really good about the program is that it offers learning opportunities outside of our respective degree programs.
Your generous gift empowers me to fulfill my lifelong dreams.
I am honored to be one of the scholars that has allowed me to receive quality education.
I really can't wait to give back to the foundation that has helped me be one step closer to my goal.
I'm really looking forward for more activities. Thank you so much, SBFI, and more power.
Malaking tulong po ito sa aking anak sa kanyang pag-aaral.
Lubos po akong nagpapasalamat ng marami sa itaas sa agency namin sa Security Bank Foundation.
No matter how busy it gets at work, still have a chance to plant seeds of generosity through fun activities.
We saw the smiling faces and the entertaining intermission numbers of the scholars. A lot of the winners were also scholars, so even if we weren't winning, it felt good to be able to help.
And if you're going to look at it, it's not just helping the scholars, but also everyone who participates in it.
Congratulations, Security Bank Foundations. Keep it up. You're doing a great job helping our scholars.
We have nothing but gratitude towards Security Bank, which has provided us with 3 negative pressure ambulance units that greatly help us in our battle. Together, we have made history by being the first to employ a negative pressure system in response to the pandemic. We are delighted that you have chosen PRC as one of the beneficiaries of your humanitarian efforts, and of course, we are elated to celebrate this momentous event with you as our partner in serving humanity. Together, we will win. Happy 70th anniversary from the Philippine Red Cross.
Dear God, thank you for the opportunity to meet together. Please help us to come together to make this institution reflect your kingdom. Breathe life into our ideas and decisions. Help us build a team that has love and respect at its heart. Give us the strength to continue working for your kingdom in this time of pandemic. Lord, come give us the inspiration to be the best we can be. May we be a shining example of your goodness and truth within, wherever we are. Inspire our thoughts, discussions, and ideas, and continue to remind us that all that we do here today, all that we accomplish, is for the pursuit of truth for the greater glory of you. We ask these things in your name. Amen.
Mga kababayan, ang pambansang awit ng Pilipinas.
Kayang magiliw, telas ng silanganan, alam ng puso, sa titik mo'y buhay. Lupang hinirang, tuyang ka ng magiting, sa manlulupin, di ka pasisigil, sa nagagaktutok sa simoy at sa langit mong bangaw, ay hinatang tulang awit sa pagkayang minamahal. Ang isang ng matawad mo'y tagumpay na nagtitindig, ang bituin at araw niya kailan ang ay di magtitindig. Lumang ang araw ng walhagit pagsinta, buhay langit sa piling mo. Ang hindi kaya ng pagkay mga api, ang mamatay ng dahil sa'yo.
Welcome everyone. Thank you for being part of the Security Bank webinar. Before we get started, let's go over a few things so we can all fully appreciate today's topics. Please be reminded that this webinar is recorded. List of attendees, messages, and other interaction will be automatically generated after the broadcast. First, test your speakers. You should be able to hear my voice clearly to get the most of your webinar experience. You can also check your screen now for interactive plugins we integrated to engage with you. This can be in a form of Q&A, polls, webinar chat, or even mini-games. To avoid distractions, please stay on mute if you are not presenting. Mics can be very sensitive, which means shuffling papers and eating will be easily heard by all attendees. You are always welcome to interact using the plugins provided or during the Q&A. If available in this current webinar tool, raise your hand if you have something to say so our event host can see and call you. If you're a speaker, we recommend you wear a headset with a built-in microphone during your presentation to reduce background noise. For video-on conferences, try to find an appropriate background with good lighting. When applicable, choose a safe digital background that will not distract other attendees. If you're attending the broadcast at home with your video on, keep in mind what you're wearing. Stripes and loud patterns can create an illusion of vibration which can distract the speaker. We will begin in a few minutes. If you are having issues with connectivity, audio, or video, we can try to help you. Just message your event organizer here or via email. You can find the organizer's email in the event invite you received. Once again, let's all observe proper webinar etiquette. We all want our guests to get the most of the Security Bank webinar. To everyone who is already here, thank you for registering early. The broadcast will start shortly.
Hello and good morning and welcome to Security Bank Foundation's webinar on the use of its Ready, Set, Read educational videos for grade 3 students. I'm Carlo Valedores and thank you so much for making time. Ngayon po, I'm getting to see that we have about nearly 100 participants. We would like to we have a lot of guests today from Luzon. We have people from Nueva Ecija. We have people from Pangasinan, Alamino City. We also have participants from Ormoc and from Dumaguete City in the Visayas. And also we're seeing very interested participants from Davao City. Good morning, good morning. And again, thank you so much for making time. We're also seeing people from Southern Leyte, from Osami City. Ayan po. Good morning at salamat po sa inyong pagdalo. Today is a Saturday, a supposed rest day for us teachers. But also because as teachers, we know for a fact that when we work and the work that we do is always bigger than ourselves. So that whether it's a weekday or a weekend, we're here doing what we can for our students. And before I continue, I'd like to first invite you, if you could give yourselves a virtual clap. This in itself, you coming here on a Saturday, is a big thing. And yet we know that as teachers, we do it for the sake of our students. Should some of your fellow teachers also be having, should some of your teachers be having some trouble getting the link, you may also ask them to register at bit.ly RSR2 grade 3. Before we begin, just allow me to make the following reminders. Kindly introduce yourself by chatting the following in the Zoom chat box. Please type in the grade level you teach, in this case, grade 3, your school name, your location, and then your nickname. For example, grade 3, Tikay Elementary School, Malolos, Bulacan, Kim. Can we please do this now? Thank you so much. Thank you, Ms. Jacqueline. Thank you from Renalyn. Thank you also thank you po for Sir Lester. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for participating. Second, also, to earn a certificate of attendance, note that you have to accomplish the post-training evaluation. This requires that you attend the webinar from start to end. As the link will be shared later during the program. Third, we'd also like to ask you to take photos of yourselves while participating in the webinar and post it in your own social media accounts. Please don't forget to use the hashtag School for Better Communities. Ayan po. So if you could just take a picture of yourself right now using your camera, you may take a selfie and please post it again on your social media account using the hashtag Schools for Better Communities. Also, since we'll be doing a quick FGD later, please have 2 devices ready, your laptop or desktop for the session, while your mobile phone or tablet should be used for the Kahoot app. Thank you, and we are now ready to begin the webinar. Security Bank Foundation has long been developing and implementing programs that advance quality education in the country, including relevant training programs such as what we will enjoy today. To formally welcome us and give us an idea of the reason why Ready, Set, Read began, may we invite Security Bank Foundation Trustee and Corporate Secretary, Ms. Melissa R. Aquino.
On behalf of the Security Bank family, we welcome you to this webinar to enhance the reading competencies of our students. By way of background, Security Bank Foundation was established in 1993 to uplift the quality of life in communities where Security Bank has a presence through its education advocacy. We believe that education is the greatest equalizer in life, giving everyone the opportunity to succeed in life, no matter his social and economic background. We were guided by the wisdom of the proverb, "Give a man a fish and you feed him for a day. Teach him how to fish and you feed him for a lifetime." Our approach to our education advocacy is holistic. Security Bank Foundation provides funding for construction of classrooms compliant to DepEd standards, support of students via scholarship programs, training and support programs designed by Ateneo de Manila University and De La Salle Philippines, and the program participation of various stakeholders, including the local government unit, the Department of Education, the communities, and even clients and bank employees via a volunteerism component. We continue to explore more opportunities to advance our advocacy. The challenges of 21st century education and this pandemic have inspired us to partner with Knowledge Channel and Ateneo to produce 20 videos on English reading competencies aligned with the Department of Education curriculum. We focused on English reading to address the findings of global student assessments that Filipino learners lag in reading comprehension versus their international peers. We count on the support of the Department of Education and the schools present today in advising parents and students to watch the videos during the airing schedules, as well as asking their teachers to use the videos as standard learning delivery materials. We also look forward to teachers providing us documentation of students accessing the videos, as well as feedback through an online form to be made available at the Security Bank website. We will also reconnect with schools to monitor outcome indicators that will tell if we have been meeting our objective of improving the reading comprehension skills of our students. We still believe that more work needs to be done in advancing quality education. As long as Security Bank continues to do well, we shall continue pursuing our education advocacy. Through our efforts, we hope that Security Bank will help create a brighter tomorrow for the succeeding generation of Filipinos through better education. Thank you, and to God be the glory.
Thank you so much, Ms. Melissa, for that very meaningful message. Indeed, there are two reasons why Security Bank Foundation launched Ready, Set, Read. Just like what Ms. Melissa had said, Ready, Set, Read was a response to the international assessments that showed that Filipino learners lagged behind their international peers in terms of in terms of English reading. It was also the foundation's response to address gaps in learning resources. If you recall, our dear teachers, when COVID-19 struck, we all had to level up and to do more than what was expected of us. We became not only teachers, but counselors, school representatives, and even event creators. Ready, Set, Read was conceived to lessen the burden of English teachers and give them a train, teach, and test experience. Today, you will not only be given educational videos, but learning guides and as well as quality assured assessments. Our first speaker for today's webinar comes from the Ateneo de Manila University, where she had taught for 11 years. Alam niyo po, there are many ways that I could introduce her to you. That she graduated from the University of the Philippines, Diliman, with a degree of BA Communication Arts. Or I could tell you that she is currently a master's candidate in the Ateneo de Manila University. As a colleague in the university, I could also tell you of her acting and singing skills. But today, I would like to introduce to you someone whom I know has a way with students. Miss Erica Jenny Rosena, or Miss Ikay as we fondly call her, has always been seen as a safe space and engaging teacher by her students. From Ikay, if I recall correctly, I would always see students running towards you or crowding around you, receiving the same energy and passion that you have in class. And after class, they too leave with the same energy and passion that you impart to them. Dear colleagues in the academe in Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao, I give you Miss Erica Rosena of the Ateneo de Manila University.
Okay, good morning, teachers. Good morning, fellow educators. Let me set up my screen very quickly. Thank you so much, Sir Kim, for that very generous, very generous introduction. Okay, for a while po. Ayan. So, as Sir Kim mentioned, I am Erica Jenny Rosena from the Ateneo de Manila Junior High School. I'm an English teacher and I've been teaching English in the high school for 11 years now. Okay, I mean the 11th year will end this school year. So thank you so much for that introduction. So for this session po, welcome again to this session. I am very grateful for your presence today. I know it's a Saturday, like what Sir Kim mentioned, dapat nagpapahinga tayo. Okay, but your presence today is a testament of how passionate you are with your craft, diba? That you want to learn more or perhaps review what you have learned back in your undergrad or master's degree and try to apply them in your respective classes. Okay, so maraming salamat po sa pagpunta ninyo today. Okay, for today's session or for this part of the training, I will be talking about a very specific reading lesson, okay, reading competency according to the MELCs of DepEd. Okay, the MELCs of DepEd. This lesson starts in grade 3. Okay, but perhaps even in the earlier grades, okay, students are already also exposed to graphs and tables, but the specific learning objective or learning competency of interpreting graphs and simple graphs and tables, okay, they're in grade 3. Okay, so I see in the chat box, so marami pong grade 3 teachers, no? Okay, so perhaps I hope that you can learn a lot or review a lot and apply some things that I will talk about in this session. Okay, and I entitled this presentation "Reading Within and Beyond Tables and Graphs." Okay, reading within and beyond tables and graphs. So before I officially start with the content, okay, let me ask you po, no, especially doon sa mga nakapagturo na nitong very specific lesson na to. Okay? On a scale of 1 to 5 po, 1 the lowest, 5 the highest. How much do you enjoy teaching, okay, this particular lesson, teaching tables and graphs? Can you type it in the chat box po? How much do you enjoy teaching this? Okay, sige po, bigyan ko po kayo ng 20 seconds for everyone to respond. Ooh, okay, I see mga 4. Aba, oy, meron tayong 5, 4. Sige po, just keep them coming. 5. Okay, wag po tayo ma-pressure sa sagot ng iba. Kung ayaw nyo talaga itong lesson na to, okay lang. Okay, so I see 4s and 5s. Meron pa pong habol. Meron tayong 3. Okay, so 3, 4, 5s. Okay, majority 4. Okay, siguro kung may mabilis mag-compute ng math dito, may mabilis na makakapagkuha ng average, no? But it seems that 4. Okay, 4 is the most common yung mode, kumbaga kung mean, median mode, di ba? Yung mode is 4. Thank you so much for that. I asked you this because I really believe that our attitude towards a particular lesson, okay, affects how we teach it. 'Di ba? Kung gusto natin yung lesson or we enjoy teaching that particular lesson, it will translate into our teaching as well. Okay, maybe masaya din yung activities natin, excited tayong magturo, and that will create an osmosis effect on the students, 'di ba? Kapag excited yung teacher magturo, 'di ba? Parang nahahawa yung energy, napupunta yung energy sa mga students din natin. Okay? O sabi po ni Ma'am Sales or Mr. Sales, okay, quite easy to teach and explain. Totoo naman po yan. Okay? Totoo naman po yan. Pero perhaps what we will focus on today, okay, is, totoo po yan, madali naman talaga tong lesson na to, but perhaps from the perspective of the students, how can we help them? Okay? How can we help them really acquire this skill and hone this skill? Kasi madali siyang ituturo, okay, but that doesn't necessarily mean na nagets ng mga bata. So perhaps I'm glad that we enjoy teaching this lesson. Okay, and what I will share with you are just some strategies to ensure that yung excitement natin, yung passion natin, yung enjoyment natin in teaching this lesson will translate to skills. Okay, skills learned for our students. Okay. I would like to emphasize why this skill is important. Okay, bakit importante itong skill na to? Okay, to the point that we have to introduce it as early as grade 3 or maybe even earlier. Okay, and how it contributes to the progression and the accumulation of their skills. So meron pa akong konting pa-quiz lang para lang ma-exercise ang ating mga brain muscles. Okay? So sabi po dito, according to experts, reading and understanding tables and graphs is the foundation of blank. Bigyan ko po kayo ng options, huwag kayong mag-alala. Okay? So according to experts, reading and understanding tables and graphs is the foundation of, okay, may po tayong multiple choices dito. A, independent learning. B, statistical knowledge. C, effective writing skills. Or D, basic arithmetic skills. So yung graphs at tables na yan, foundation ng ano, okay? Building block ng ano. Sige nga po, what's your answer? You can type it in the chat box. A, B, C, D. Okay, ano po ang bakit importante itong lesson na ito? So I see a lot of B's, okay, a few A's, okay, some C's. Sige po. Sige lang po, tuloy-tuloy po. Huwag po kayo mag-alala, hindi po ito graded, di ba? So I see a lot of B's, okay, and some sporadic A, B, and D's. Sige po, I'll count you down sa mga gusto pa pong humabol. Okay, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, salamat po sa pagsagot. Okay, the correct answer is according to experts, it's the foundation of, and majority of you got it right, statistical knowledge. Okay, statistical knowledge, not necessarily independent learning. Hindi naman po yun yung foundation nun, or even what we call this, even basic arithmetic skills. Kasi basic arithmetic skills, that's counting, adding, hindi naman po dependent yun sa tables and graphs. But statistical knowledge. Now, this might seem daunting, no? Parang, hala, statistics, parang di ba, ano yun? Yun yung mahirap intindihin, di ba? Yun yung mahirap na subject nung high school or even nung college, di ba? Di ba? Ito yung nakaka-stress sa thesis, di ba? So, but what we mean by statistical knowledge, okay, it's the broader aspect of it, but it's the skills of collecting data, organizing data, interpreting data, and drawing conclusions for decision making. Ayan po si Ma'am Florence, ayan, nasa stress natitrigger sa term na statistics. Okay? So, yun po, when we teach tables and graphs, simple tables and graphs, okay, in grade 3 or maybe for some schools baka earlier, okay, we're actually building on their statistical knowledge. Okay, we're starting to establish, okay, the foundation of their statistical knowledge. Hindi lang po yung mga mag-STEM, okay, or mag-take ng engineering or yung mga magma-masters or gagawa ng thesis ang magbe-benefit from learning or for forming, okay, this type of skill and knowledge. But kahit sino po, okay, it's collecting data and organizing data, interpreting data, whatever information that they have, okay, you can incorporate some sort of statistics in it. And it's important that we teach them as early as in the primary school para when they go to, for example, high school, kapag nagpa-plot na sila sa Cartesian plane, di ba? That's also a graph. Okay, pag nagpa-plot na sila ng sine, cosine, or whatever, okay, that's also a graph. So if we don't establish or we don't form a good foundation of tables and graphs, okay, in the primary school or in the primary level, affected po yan, sunod-sunod po yan until when they're in their higher grades. Yan. So, sabi po sa literature, okay, sa literature, in the primary level, teaching tables and graphs is a shared responsibility of language, math, and science teachers. Okay, shared responsibility in the primary level, shared responsibility of language, math, and science teachers. So, ibig sabihin po, hindi lang po tayong English teachers, although in the primary levels, we teach several subjects, okay? But ibig sabihin po, that's how versatile, okay, this lesson is, kasi it's applicable to a lot of subjects, okay? Sa math, 'di ba? Kunwari yung pag nagpa-add ka na, parang how many for example, bananas were sold in total, okay, based on this graph, something like that, or science when they're interpreting tables. So it's a very simple lesson, okay, but but when we teach this lesson effectively, tuhog niya po yung madaming skills from different fields, okay, or different fields of study. So ganun po siya ka-importante, okay, and I'm glad again, like from my question a while ago, if you enjoy teaching this lesson, then, I mean, that's already the first step, di ba? Our attitude towards the lesson. Now we know why it's very, very, very important. All right? Now, tables and graphs, okay, meron po silang parang umbrella term, so to speak, umbrella term. Tables and graphs are considered as blank. Meron po silang umbrella term for that. So, another question po for us. So, tables and graphs are considered as blank. Is it A, creative texts, B, non-fiction texts, C, informational texts, or D, political texts? Okay, so tables and graphs are considered as what? Or another term for it, or an umbrella term for tables and graphs. Okay, so tingnan po natin. Mukhang halos lahat yata sagot C, parang walang ibang sagot. Sige po, just keep it coming. Ayan. I'll count you down. 5 seconds po sa mga gusto pang humabol. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, maraming si Sir Jeffrey talagang C ang sagot. Okay, C ang sagot. All right. So the correct answer is C, informational text. Okay, that's the umbrella term for tables and graphs, and even signs, symbols, maps, okay, those are all informational texts. Now, why am I emphasizing this? Okay, from the term itself, information, okay, informational text, that's the keyword there. It's a text, okay, a table or a graph is a text, okay, and it's informational, meaning it gives information. Okay, why am I emphasizing this? Okay, because since tables and graphs are informational texts, we English teachers have to teach them, okay, as how we would read a reading text or a reading material. Okay, a reading material. So obviously, a table or a graph will have fewer words compared to a story, di ba? Or compared to poetry, di ba? Mas konti yung words. Okay, walang masyadong characters, wala yung plot, rising action, etc., etc. But it's a text, okay, meaning it contains information. Okay, even though it's a simple table like the one that you see, that's a screenshot from the Ready Set Read videos. It says a lot, di ba? Ang dami mong masasabi tungkol dun sa informational text na yon. Okay, so perhaps this is how this is the frame of thinking, the lens of teaching that I want to emphasize today. Okay, that we should treat a table or a graph as how we would teach a reading text, a story, a short essay, or a short paragraph, a short non-fiction paragraph, or a poem. Okay, or a poem. So dapat po pareho yon. Okay, pareho yung teaching natin. Okay, so graph literacy, okay, is like learning to read a text. Okay, it's like learning to read a text. Again, just like a story or a paragraph, okay, or non-fiction text. Each requires repeated practice and gradual progression of complexity as students develop their skills. So, kung isipin niyo po kung paano niyo tinuturo or dinidiscuss ang isang story, Okay, so for example, the tortoise and the hare. Okay, dapat ganun din po or i-transfer natin yung skill na yun or yung strategy na yun in teaching a table or a graph. Okay, and this will be the focus of the strategies, okay, of that I will talk about today. Okay, I want us when we're teaching tables and graphs, I want us to focus on both on the parts and the whole. Okay, focus on both the parts and the whole. Let's begin po with the first one, which is focusing on the parts. Okay, focusing on the parts of a graph or a table. Okay, so it's very important, very crucial. Okay, very crucial for us. Okay, for you grade 3 teachers. Okay, grade 3 teachers to do explicit teaching of the parts of a table or a graph. Explicit meaning direct. Okay, meaning direct teaching, obvious teaching, clear teaching, okay, of the parts of the graph. Okay, so meron po akong question sa baba. Okay, can you type in the chat box the parts that you should explicitly teach the students, whether a table, a graph, or a pictograph? Ano po ba yung mga parts na yon na dapat dinidiscuss natin, okay, ini-explain talaga natin sa mga students? Sige nga po, ano po yung mga parts na yon? Okay, review lang po ito, review lang. Okay, sige lang po, keep it coming po. Okay, I see titles, legends, good, labels, okay, titles, legends, symbols, okay, good. Okay, ano pa po? Ayan, sige, title pa. Okay, a lot of titles. Okay, ano pa po? Signs, symbols, good. Meron pa po. Okay, the data, okay, the labels. Okay, meron pa po. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Ayan, tama po kayo. Okay, tama po kayo. Yun po yung mga kailangan nating ituro talaga. And by ituro, medyo literal po na ituturo. Ituturo talaga natin nasaan sa table na to yung title. Okay? Because when students see a table or a graph, okay, we have to make sure that they know what they're looking at. Okay, we have to make sure that they know what they're looking. Unlike a story, kasi yun nga, di ba sa story, sa grade 1, tuturo natin, yung nasa taas yung title, ganyan-ganyan. Okay, or yung table of contents, ganyan. Ganon din po dapat sa isang table. Okay, literal, ituturo natin, nandito yung title, nandito yung legend, etc., etc. So keys, legends, labels, perhaps even I would also add the concept of rows and columns, especially for tables and pictographs. Maybe we're using the term very, we use the term a lot in our classroom, di ba? Fix your column, fix your row. Okay? Pero baka kailangan mas explicit yung teaching, ituturo talaga natin na itong pahabang to, tawag dyan column. Itong pahiga, okay, ito yung row. Okay, something like that. Because it's very important, okay, students have to know those terms, okay, when they're dealing with a table. Okay, 'di ba? Pag magtanong na tayo later on, alam ng student kung ano yung titignan niya. Okay? And for bar graphs, perhaps the concept of horizontal and vertical. Okay? Siguro wag po muna nating ituro yung x-axis, y-axis, no? Kasi baka masyadong advanced na yon or masyadong abstract for grade 3 students. But perhaps yung concept ng horizontal and vertical, when we teach a bar graph, okay, the horizontal line represents, for example, what you have here, a screenshot of the bar graph in Ready, Set, Read videos. Okay, that's the number of pets. Yun yung vertical pala, horizontal ako ng horizontal. Vertical, okay, yung vertical, patayo. Okay, or yung horizontal, okay, the horizontal, that's the kind of pets. So we have to be very direct in teaching these things to the students because they have to make sense of the parts. What are they seeing? Okay, syempre po itong simple graphs and tables for us adults, madali na to eh. I mean, instinct na to sa atin. I mean, we can interpret it very easily because of exposure and our education, etc., etc. But for beginner learners of a table and a graph, we have to guide them where to look at. What am I looking at? Okay, what am I looking at? Because perhaps that's the skill that we are underestimating na baka isipin natin, kasi simple lang naman, baka gets na nila. Okay, but we can never assume that. Okay, so it's very important that we point these parts out. Okay, so kung meron silang worksheet, okay, perhaps you can start with, sige nga, encircle the title. Nasaan yung title? Okay, sige nga, asan yung number of pets. So for example, like that, saan yung number, yung part ng graph that says the number of pets. Okay, can you color that green, something like that. Okay, so that we know, okay, because until the students know how to make sense of a graph or a bar, when we ask questions about it na already, ito parts pa lang to malilito na sila. If they don't know the parts, then when we ask questions about the table or the graph, malilito sila, hindi nila alam kung saan titingin. Okay, so we have to be very patient with that, with the teaching of the parts. Okay, when it comes to information texts, okay, meron pong tinatawag na visual decoding. Okay, visual decoding, which simply means how readers interpret graphs or tables. Because again, unlike for example a paragraph, the students, okay, those who know how to read, they know that, okay, you begin from the left to the right, tapos pababa, okay? But with a table, okay, with a graph or a table, you have to orient them. What is there to look at? Diba? Kasi hindi siya left to right or top to bottom or something. So you have to train your students, you have to teach your students how to decode, okay? How to decode the table or the graph, and that begins with explicitly teaching them the parts. Okay, so yun po. So you can consider teaching the parts of a graph or a table as a pre-reading exercise. Okay, pre-reading. Kumbaga, you're not talking about the content of the table yet. Okay, di ba? Kahit na ba sabihin mo, sige nga, nasan dyan yung column 2? Or saan dyan yung row 3? Anong nakasulat sa row 3? Okay, something like that. So so you can check, okay, you can already check if the students know where to look at, okay, so that when you ask questions about the graph or the table itself, then they know how to locate the information that you are referring to. So when you do this as a pre-readings exercise, this is actually a form of, okay, this one is a very, very sikat term, di ba, sa ating mga educators. Ito pong pagtuturo ng explicitly teaching of the parts of the table or a graph, okay, tapos yung as a pre-reading exercise, this is a form of, sige nga po, itong mahabang word na to, nag-umpisa sa S, tapos yan. Naalala niyo po ba tong term na to? It ends with the letter G. Naalala niyo po ba? Sige nga. Okay, ayan, si Ma'am Rachel. Okay, ayan na. Yes, it's coming already. All right, so this is a form of scaffolding. Okay, scaffolding meaning you are providing the support. Okay, you're providing your students some sort of support para, okay, when you go to the next level, okay, you know that they are well prepared, or their foundation or their knowledge is solid enough for you to go to the next level. So scaffolding po ito. Okay, when you explicitly teach the parts, okay, especially as a form of pre-reading. Okay, so once you have taught your students already these parts, okay, turo nyo talaga, pagtsagaan nyo, turo nyo yung parts for a table, for a graph, or for a pictograph, then you can move to the next level, okay, which is asking questions about noting details. So again, I'm using the term noting details because again, okay, the way we teach a table or a graph, okay, should be similar to how we teach a reading text. So as you can see, pre-reading yung teaching of the parts, tapos ito naman nasa noting details na tayo. Okay, so let's recall lang po, okay, let's recall po what a noting detail question is. So which of the following describes a noting detail question? Okay, which of the following describes a noting detail question? Okay, is it A, making educated guesses, B, identifying what is stated in the text, C, evaluating the logic of the text, Or D, forming conclusions from the text. Nga po, alin dyan ang ang noting detail na question? Okay, so keep it coming po. Ayan, so I see majority B. Okay, may nakita akong konting C kanina. Noting details lang po. Sige po, I'll count you down dun sa mga gusto pang humabol. Okay, meron ako nakitang pa konting C at D. Okay, but majority is B. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, thank you so much for your responses po. So a noting detail question, okay, is identifying what is stated in the text. Okay, identifying what is stated in the text. The other three, ito po yung mas higher order thinking questions na po ito, which we will discuss later on. Okay, so noting details lang po, identifying what's stated in the text. Ano yung nasa text? Okay, ano yung nasa text? So this begins with observations, and if you recall the your questions for a reading text, okay, or a story, novel, okay, poem, okay, what is stated in the text? Your 5 W's and one H. Diba? Who, what, when, where, why, how. Okay, so when you ask noting detail question, okay, about a graph or a table, okay, you're just asking the question like I think it was mentioned in the chat, yung literal questions, ano yung nandyan? Okay, ano yung nandyan? So sige nga po, what you see on the screen is a very simple bar graph. Okay, so you have favorite fruits of 3 Rizal students. Okay, so sige nga po, practice lang. Okay? Using the graph on the right, can you craft one noting detail question? Okay? Isang note, kahit alin about anything in the what we call this about the graph. Okay? Sige po. So I see tatlong teachers nagsabi, what is the title of the graph? Okay, that's correct. Ano pa po? Meron pa po ba tayong ibang noting detail question? Okay. Sabi po ni Ma'am Florence, what are the fruits presented in the graph? Good. Okay, how many students are there? Okay, that's good. Pinapag-math na ni Ma'am, no? Di ba? Ayan, nakita niyo po yung connection ng English and math in this. So, tama din po yan. Okay, which fruit is the most favorite? Okay, that's also a noting detail question. How many students like orange? Okay, that's also a noting detail question. Okay, si Ma'am Gina sabi niya, what is the graph all about? That's good. Which fruit is the least favorite? Okay, tama din po yun. That's a noting detail question. Meron pa pong hahabol. Okay, which fruit is the least favorite of grade 3 Rizal students? Okay, ayan. Alright, so those are those responses. Okay, ayan. How many students like apples? How many students like grapes? How many students like dalandan? Those are all noting details questions. So give yourselves a round of applause po. No? Tama po yan. Okay, tama po yung mga responses niyo. So when you ask those questions, like for example, how many students like apples? How many students like oranges? Okay, make it a habit to help students explicitly point out which part of the graph or the graph or table you are talking about. Okay, what do I mean by this? So pwedeng kunwari yung question niyo po, no, kunwari how many students like oranges, or for example yung marami nagtanong, what is the table about? Okay, or what is the title of the table? Okay, what is the title of the table? So when you do that, kunwari may magsasagot sa Zoom or kunwari sa actual classroom, pag nag-face-to-face na po kayo, kung sabihin niya, ma'am, it's about the favorite fruits of the students. Okay? Tanong niyo po yung follow-up, very behaviorist po siya, pero importante po siya for habit formation. Habit formation. Where can we find that information in the graph? Okay, so this one, it tells you na alam ng student, again, kung saan titingin in the graph or a table, and it will also help those students na hindi pa nila gets, hindi nila naiintindihan yung table, they don't know where to look. hindi pa nila na-hone yung skill na yon, it will help them, okay, by the response of their classmate na, ay ma'am, ito po yung nasa taas, yung blue, yan po yung title. So yung mga classmates na hindi pa gets, parang yun pala yung title. Okay, or for example, when you ask yung kayo po may mga na-questions kanina na how many students like apples, how many students like grapes. Okay, especially for materials that are color coded, very colorful, very engaging. Again, yun po, parang kahit na nasagot na nila ng tama, how many students like grapes, sabihin mo nila 5. Okay, tanungin niyo po ulit, parang how did you come up with that answer? Okay, what bar color should we look at? Okay, and this one is also very important if, for example, walang sumasagot. Okay, for example, nagtanong ka how many students like grapes, tapos walang sumasagot. Okay, you can backpedal and ask what bar color should we look at, di ba? O saan natin hahanapin yung information na yon? Okay, so it goes both ways, both if the students know the answer and also if the students don't know the answer. So going back to what I mentioned earlier about visual decoding, okay, it's all about forming that habit na to the point na kapag nakakita sila ng table, instinct na nila, okay, that they will look for the information in the x-axis and y-axis, or the rows or the columns and such. Okay, so in doing this, okay, whenever you ask them to point out where did you get that information, anong tiningnan mo, okay, anong part of the graph or the table yung tiningnan mo, okay, you are really training your students to read the graph or the table. Okay, they know where to look at, okay, to find the information. Okay, so when you're asking noting details question, ayun, pabalik-balik lang. Okay, pabalik-balik lang. Even in higher order thinking questions, because you will always go back to what's stated in the text, okay, to identify, to build on, to check if they understand or if they can read the graph or the table. All right. Okay, and the second part, okay, now once you have asked questions about the parts, okay, you can focus now on the whole. Okay, you can focus now on the whole. But of course, you cannot go to this level yet. Okay, you cannot go to this level yet if hindi pa honed yung skills doon sa parts, okay, or sa noting details. Okay, but if you feel that your students, ay alam na nila, marunong na sila maghanap ng information from a graph or a table, then you can focus on this, okay, focusing on the whole. Or okay, which simply means reading beyond, okay, reading beyond the text or interpreting the table or the graph. Okay, so from reading, from identifying certain information or data from the table or the graph, okay, now you can step back and look at it as a whole and ask your higher order thinking questions. Okay, higher order thinking questions. So balik po tayo dito sa very simple bar graph about the favorite fruits of 3 Rizal students. Okay, I'll show you 3 questions and I want you to identify which question is a higher order thinking question based on the graph. Okay, which of the following is a higher order thinking question based on the graph? Okay, A, which fruit was not chosen by any student as their favorite? B, if you plan to sell fruit juice to your classmates this summer, what flavor should you sell for biggest profit? Or C, which two fruits had the same number of votes from the students? Yan po, alin dyan yung higher order thinking question? Okay, I see a lot of B's. Okay, good. Ayan, alam po mukhang alam natin mga English teachers yung ganyan, or siguro gamit na gamit natin to, no, itong application type of question. So I'll count you down po dun sa mga gusto pang humabol. Okay, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, mukhang lahat po tayo ay sumagot ng B. So good job to everyone. Palakpakan niyo po ang inyong mga sarili. So B is a higher order thinking question. Okay, it's beyond noting details. This is evaluating. Okay, evaluating, and then again, it's it involves drawing conclusions for decision making, diba? So ibato mo yung question sa kanila, like what was mentioned in the chat box, diba? Situational and analytical, diba? So sa situation na to, kaya gusto mo magbenta ng fruit juice, anong flavor ang ibebenta mo para kumita ka ng madami? Diba? And the students will support their answer based on the details or the information from the graph or the table that you have. Okay, so considering all information, when we say you focus on the whole now, okay, you focus on the whole, okay, considering all information in the graph or the table, formulate questions that will make the students predict, draw conclusions, or evaluate. So as you can see, itong tatlong questions po na to, predict, draw conclusions, evaluate. Again, these are questions that we use when we talk about a story, 'di ba? Or a reading text, 'di ba? So what do you think? Kunwari, yung the tortoise and the hare, okay? Evaluate, tama ba yung strategy ni rabbit na matulog? Okay, matulog muna since mabagal naman si tortoise, something like that. Or for example, yung predicting, di ba? Natulog si tortoise, si hare, si rabbit, ano kayang mangyayari, di ba? So these are questions beyond the text, okay? Beyond the text, and you can also apply them in a table or a graph. Okay? And it's important to relate your questions to real life scenarios if possible. Okay? So, it's a matter of ito pong questions na ito yung medyo mas mahirap i-craft. 'Di ba? Kasi syempre you only have a simple table or a simple graph. Okay? But if you can ask a few higher order thinking questions from your table or your graph, then you can not only hone your students' reading skills of interpreting a graph or a table, but their critical thinking skills as well. So for example, a while ago, may nakita ko may nagtanong, di ba? Para sa chat, I think may nagtanong, why don't the students like dalandan, di ba? So maybe you can ask that. Okay, this is beyond the graph already. Kunwari, itanong mo, di ba? Pansinin mo, favorite nila yung orange, pero walang bumoto sa dalandan. Bakit kaya? Di ba? So this is already going beyond the text, okay? Making inferences, making sound judgments. Okay? Hindi ko po ito tinatanong sa inyo, okay? Sample lang, okay? Sample question lang, which will make the students wonder, oh nga, no, anong meron sa orange na wala sa dalandan? Okay? And maybe they can draw conclusions from that. Okay, maybe the students will say, baka hindi sila mahilig sa maasim, okay? Or masyadong maasim ang dalandan. Okay, but an orange is a little bit sweeter, something like that. So again, okay, asking these questions is more challenging than the noting details questions. Okay, but if you craft your questions this way, if you craft such higher order thinking questions, then you are stretching, diba? You're stretching the thinking abilities of your students. Okay, so to generate higher order thinking questions from graphs or tables, we should focus on the relationships of the data. Okay, so yun nga po, effort talaga siya to tayo rin, di ba? As a teacher, ano kayang pwede kong itanong? Ano bang relationship nitong mga information na to? Anong pwede kong tanungin? Okay, etc., etc. Okay, so when it comes to the ready, set, read videos, okay, how can you use them to supplement your discussion, okay, and this will be discussed further by Ma'am Melanie later on. Pero there's one strategy perhaps that I want to focus on that you can use, okay, in your discussion. So obviously, you teach them the parts, diba? You teach them the parts, you ask noting detail questions, and then you ask higher order thinking questions. Okay. My suggestion is, aside from letting the students watch and interact with the videos, you can pause or screenshot the table or the graph presented in the video, in the ready, set, read videos, to ask more questions about it, whether it's a noting detail question or a higher order thinking questions. Okay? So for example po, yung episode na may table. Okay, episode na may table. So you do your your discussion, whether online or face-to-face, you teach the students the parts, okay, and then you ask some noting details questions, or when you make them watch this video, okay, may mga questions na po sa video, di ba? May mga noting detail questions na po sa video, mga 2 to 3 per table or graph. But I would suggest na i-pause nyo, kunwari itong screenshot ko, okay, i-pause nyo yung video at this point, and then draft questions from it, yung mga hindi pa natanong doon sa video itself. Okay? Kasi marami pa tayong pwedeng matanong. Okay? So for example here, again, the progression from noting details to higher order thinking questions. You can ask, what kind of donations did all 3 villages give a lot of? So ito, noting detail pero medyo mas higher level kasi they're considering 3 villages already. Okay, so the students should answer, okay, water and food packs, ganyan. And then you can ask a higher order thinking question. Bakit ito yung pinakamarami nilang binigay? Okay, so again, this is a table, okay, that's from the Ready Set Read video, okay, the Ready Set Read video, and you can ask more questions about it. Pause nyo lang po, pause nyo lang sa part na yan kapag zoom in na nila yung table or your graph. Okay, you can do the same thing with yung pizza, okay, for the pictographs, okay, the order of pizzas for pictographs, and then yung sa number of pets doon sa bar graphs. Pause nyo po sa part na yon, and then ask more questions about it para ma-maximize din yung table or graph that was used in the video. Okay, so that will save you time aside from, you know, kung if you didn't have time to prepare or to create a new table. Okay, you can use this and maximize the table or the graph used in the Ready Set Read videos. Okay, so again, progression of questions lang po, noting details to higher order thinking questions. Okay, and if hindi masagot yung higher order thinking questions, backpedal sa noting details and scaffold it, okay, to help your students reach the higher order thinking question. Okay, so some final words na lang po, okay, regarding this very interesting topic, okay, very enjoyable topic when you teach them. I would like to share something that I found on the internet. Okay, so the New York Times po, okay, since 2017, they have a partnership, okay, with the American Statistical Association. So, yun na naman po, di ba? Statistics, yun na naman. So, meron po silang partnership, okay, since 2017, na what will happen is the New York Times will publish or will upload a graph or a table, okay, a graph or a table from the American Statistical Association about certain real-life information, okay, about world events, current events, etc., etc. So i-upload po yon sa New York Times, and with the intention that the graph or table that they will upload, okay, will be used by teachers in their discussions, okay, in their discussion of current events, or even, for example, certain issues, for example, climate change, okay, magpo-post sila ng table about the temperatures of the world, and then perhaps the science teacher can discuss it with the class. So ipopost po nila yon, for example, Monday, ipopost nila yung table or graph na yon, again, with the intention na gagamitin ng teachers in their discussion. And then i-analyze ng mga students yon. And then on Friday, the New York Times will publish the article, okay, the complete article about that particular graph, okay, about that particular graph. Now, this one po is intended for grades 7 to 12, high school students na. But I think we can learn a few things from it. So for example po, so the New York Times, meron lang po silang 3 questions lagi na pinopost kapag i-upload nila yung graph or table. Okay, what do you notice? What do you wonder? And what impact does this have on you and your community? So these three guide questions lang po. Okay, and these will be the starting points or the key ideas of the teacher, of the grade 7 to 12 teacher when they're discussing the topic, okay, or the bar graph. So for example po, kunwari araling panlipunan teacher ka, okay, kunwari lang po ito, this is an actual table, okay, or graph rather, that was posted in the New York Times. Okay, very very relevant. For example, refugees from Ukraine. Okay, since February 24. So obviously this is not your usual bar graph or table. Okay, but it's visual representation of data pa din. So the intention is the teacher will ask the students, what do you notice? Diba? What do you wonder? And what impact does it have on you and your community? Okay, and then the students will draw information, analyze information from this data alone, okay, from this graph alone. And then on Friday, like what I said, the New York Times will release the full article about this particular infographic. Okay, so very, very, ito pong 3 guide questions na to, perhaps we can use them also in teaching bars and graphs, kahit na very simple pa lang yung level natin, di ba? Na napakasimpleng, what do you notice, di ba? Very, very simple na favorite fruits, favorite pets, ganyan, how many siblings there are in your family, ganyan. But these 3, okay, very potent questions pa rin po sila na ma-apply for any grade level. Okay, another example po, sana nakikita nyo clearly yung screen. Okay, so for example, this is a line graph naman po siya. Relationship between race and net worth. Okay, race and net worth. So if you can see yung gray line po, okay, gray line represents white non-Hispanic people, okay, over the years, and then yung yellow line will be black non-Hispanic people. And again, okay, the intention is, okay, the teacher will ask these questions or will lead the discussion using the 3 questions. What do you notice? What do you wonder? What impact does this have on you and your community? So obviously, these graphs and tables, they're far more advanced than our grade 3 simple graphs and tables, but the skill is the same, and perhaps the questions that were posed by the New York Times, we can use them also as templates, kasi ito rin po yung noting details and higher order thinking questions, and perhaps we can use them in our own discussions as well. So trinay ko pong maghanap kung meron bang mga graphs or tables tayo dito sa Pilipinas na maybe we can use. Okay, I saw this one. It's not as sophisticated as the one posted by what we call this, the New York Times. Okay, this one is a line graph, but I think this one can be easily converted into a bar graph, a simple bar graph. Average number of typhoons per month. Okay, average number of typhoons per month. So maybe if we translate that to a simple bar graph, pwede tayong magtanong ng a lot of noting details and higher order thinking questions about it. And we can ask those things. What do you notice? What do you wonder? Okay, what impact does this have on you and your community? Diba? Especially if they concentrate on based on this graph, yung July to October, 'di ba, na maraming bagyo. Okay, so we can incorporate these real life situations, real life scenarios, okay, real life data, okay, even in our grade 3 simple tables. Yan. Or for example, this one again, okay, I found it in a website, government website, status of Philippine coral reef. Okay, so if you're learning about science, ganyan, okay, perhaps you can incorporate this. So ayan, makikita nila 41% are in poor condition. Okay, so what is the impact of that, okay, sa mga karagatan natin, diba, if the coral reefs are not in a good condition? Okay, and perhaps finally, okay, this one, Sir Kim mentioned this a while ago. If you recall, a few years ago, it was revealed the PISA ranking. Okay, mababa po talaga tayo, and this infographic shows that, 'di ba? Ang liit-liit na bansa ng Pilipinas pero pulang-pula tayo, 'di ba? Pulang-pula tayo. And according to this graph, the legend is our score is way below, okay, way below the average or compared to to our Asian counterparts, okay, and global counterparts even. Okay, so again, okay, these are especially this table, it's a hindi naman po natin ipapresent to sa mga students, but perhaps it's a challenge, okay, for us teachers, na what can we do, okay, what can we do to improve this, okay, na sana nandun na tayo sa orange level, di ba, and hopefully, okay, in the future we can move to the green category, yung matataas talaga yung scores, okay. So again, okay, the teaching tables and graphs, okay, it's a simple lesson, it's a fun lesson. You can ask your students, you can present a lot of tables or graphs about multiple topics, diba, from their own experiences or their own arsenal of experiences and attitudes and all those things, okay. What's important is we teach them how to read within and beyond it. Okay, again, it's a very important building block, okay, for statistical knowledge. And if we teach them as early as grade 3 how to read a graph, how to read a table, okay, then mas madadalian po yung higher grade teachers, okay, whenever they present information, whenever they're presented data, okay, in such informational text. So yun lang po, it's a challenge on crafting questions. Okay, the crafting questions, yun naman po talaga ang foundation ng teaching, 'di ba? Asking the right questions. So teach them how to read a table and a graph, and then craft your noting details and higher order thinking questions for your table and your graph. Yun lang po. Maraming salamat po sa pakikinig and your participation. I really appreciate your effort to interact with me in this talk. Maraming salamat po. I think we have time for questions later on. Okay, but I would turn the virtual floor over to Sir Kim already. Sir Kim, maraming salamat po uli.
Maraming salamat. Thank you so much, Miss Erica or Miss Ikay. Really, this is a very interesting topic for me, and I'm very happy. We've noticed that some of our teachers are really, really very active and excited. They really had so much input for us. Thank you, really, Miss Ikay or Miss Rosena, for that very engaging talk, and also of reminding us that there is really something within and even beyond these graphs. And also, thank you for reminding us to go to infinity and beyond for our students. Now, let's move on to our second speaker. Our second speaker hails from Nueva Ecija. Apart from being an English teacher, Ms. Melanie Espineda has also been established in the field of mathematics, being a division writer and language editor for integrative performance tasks in grade 3 mathematics. I could also tell you that through her hard work, Ms. Melanie Pineda is currently a respected Teacher 3 rank in the division. And yet, in our conversations in these past few weeks, what struck me the most was the effort that she would put in caring for her students. And that when the push comes to shove, Miss Melanie and her team finds ways and means to ensure that no students ever get left behind. To share with us the best practices in Santa Rita Elementary School and how she used Ready, Set, Read in her classes, ladies and gentlemen, I give you Miss Melanie S. Pineda.
Good morning, everyone. I am Milani S. Pineda, Teacher 3 from Santa Rita Elementary School, Santa Rita, Cabiao, Nueva Ecija. Together with our dedicated school principal to Dr. Rodel Reyes Danganan, our hardworking school district supervisor, Dr. Noemi Senson Sagkal, and our school division superintendent, SDO Nueva Ecija, a good leader, Sir Jesse Denzel Ferrer Seso 5. Again, good morning. Today, I'm going to share the best practices that we have in our school, Santa Rita Elementary School, in the new normal. This pandemic has really changed the way of living of the entire humanity. And the most affected of this pandemic is the education sector. Face-to-face classes were suspended to protect the health of learners during until the time that vaccines are invented and made available to the public. Modality used in Santa Rita Elementary School. Different learning modalities were crafted and the parents were given the decision to choose which of these modalities are suited and accessible to them. Our school conducted the survey to the learners' parents to find out what modalities they want to choose and accessible to them, the knowledge providers living with them in their household, and the availability of different gadgets that they can use in the distance learning. And many have chosen the modular or print type of learning. So in our school, Santa Rita Elementary School, we use modular type of learning. Santa Rita Elementary School best practices are learner support form, online support program. We use learners reading log. We also have school culminating activities. We use feedback mechanism and using the Ready Set Read videos from Security Bank Foundation Incorporated. Here is a short videos of our best practices. Excuse me, sir.
Good day, my dear.
Hindi pa po yung video. Sir Kim.
All right, ma'am. Sige po. We'll try to reshare it again. Thank you po.
Thank you po.
Thank you. Thank you po.
Welcome to Santa Rita Elementary School Best Practices, headed by our Principal 2, Dr. Rodel R. Danganan. Used learner support form to make the lesson more easier to understand. Encourage parental involvement in learning through close monitoring with the use of Facebook, Messenger, and group texts. Assisting parents through active and fast response to their inquiries about the SLM or self-learning module. Send educational videos through YouTube that involve counting numbers and strategies in solving mathematical problems. Hold a regular or monthly kamustahan to discuss the problem they encountered in answering SLM in mathematics. Continuous using of flashcards in 4 fundamental operation at home. Parents tutorial or home tutorial. Watch DepEd TV. Learners reading log chart. Additional enrichment exercises.
Watch Ready Set Read videos from Security Bank Foundation Incorporation in partnership with Ateneo de Manila University and Department of Education.
Thank you po. To continue, School Learner Support Form is a school support program for knowledge providers and learners. It focuses on what the teacher or instructor can or should to help learners and knowledge providers beyond the formal knowledge or formal delivery of content or skills development. The objectives of our school learner support program are to assist parents, guardians in guiding and assisting children, provides feedback of parents and learners on the implementation of modular distance learning in learning process, develops intervention plans for the school children who are academically challenged, and provides technical assistance to the parents to their children in terms of coaching and mentoring process. In Santa Rita Elementary School, we innovated this school's online support form and implemented this program. It aims to provide easy and concise explanation of topics in different subjects where the learners find it hard to understand. The school has created the learner support form where the brief explanation of the topics which are hard to understand is written. The form is included in the modules and learners' activity sheets given to parents during distribution and retrieval. The learner support program has received overwhelming feedbacks from the parents and knowledge providers of learners, for it made the topics easier to understand. The difficulties encountered by learners in the understanding the topics in different subject areas had been lessened. Time and effort had been saved because of the great help of the learner support program of the school. Learner support program po na to, malaki po ang naitulong sa mga knowledge provider namin. Lalo na po yung mga wala po talaga silang knowledge provider na makatutulong sa kanila na nakapag-aral, na makakaintindi sa mga modules na pinadadala po natin. Malaking tulong po ito. Meron din po sa bandang baba ng forms, may feedback po ng parents kung yung bata ba, nasagutan niya po ba yung modules sa sarili nila o nasagutan sa tulong ng kanilang knowledge provider. Next po. We also have online support program. The online support program for learners is also one of the innovation of the school, which was also offered to learners. This was purely voluntary in nature, and most of the pupils who participated in the conduct of online classes are only those who have access to internet connection and different gadgets. This online support program, just like the learner support program, has become a huge success to our school. In our online support program, we are using the videos from Ready, Set, Read videos. Next po. Learners Reading Log. In Santa Rita Elementary School, we are using learners reading log chart in order for teachers, learners, and knowledge providers to track the title of the stories, words they are reading, and to track their progress in reading. Learners Reading Log encourage learners to read as well as to record everything they read. Teachers and knowledge providers at home can use this to show the book titles and the pages where they can find the words and stories. In our school, we do culminating activities like virtual contests, spelling bee, math quiz bee, poster making contest, and essay writing. Culminating experience activities provides learners with the opportunity to experience different online virtual contests in their grade level. Malaki po yung naitulong nito para bumalik po yung sigla ng mga bata sa pag-aaral. Na kahit nasa bahay lang po sila, they can compete, na maaari po silang magkaroon ng certificate, awards, dahil po dun sa virtual online contest namin ng mga panahong nasa level 3, level 2 na hindi pa po nagkakaroon ng limited face-to-face. Next po. In our school, we are using feedbacks. Providing feedback means giving learners an explanation of what they are doing correctly or incorrectly. When the learners receive effective feedback, it gives them encouragement to do better. Positive feedback like very good, good job, or just sending likes or heart emoji to our learners group chat can boost self-esteem to strive hard to achieve and learn more. Santa Rita Elementary School are using Ready, Set, Read videos from Security Bank Foundation Incorporated in partnership with Ateneo de Manila University and Department of Education. Ready, Set, Read videos create a more engaging sensory experience to our learners. They actually get to see and hear the concept being taught. It makes learners connect faster to the lesson being taught in the videos. Ready, Set, Read videos improves the memory process by thinking in the manner of asking questions that leads to better skills of the learners. Through the use of these videos, learners can learn in their own convenient time because we send the link of these videos to their messengers and our group chats. We also use Ready, Set, Read videos in our online support program. These videos are great help not only for teachers but also to our learners. We use these videos as a motivation or presentation of our lesson. It is very applicable and of great help to our learners. They can easily understand the lessons, especially the grade 3 learners who are fond of watching and listening to stories and reading words. For those learners who cannot attend to our online support program, we make sure that they can watch the videos by sending the link to our group chat or sending the videos that we downloaded on YouTube to their messengers and learners group chat. We also told them that they can watch the Ready, Set, Read videos through knowledge channels on their TVs. We also use these videos in our limited face-to-face classes. Here's a short video clips that we use.
Hey there, we're playing charades, but instead of saying the right word, Kathy's answer should be the opposite of the right word, or its antonym. For example, here, when I show you, which means lazy, your answer should be oh, what's that? Ah. Tea. Now you try it. Do you like drinking tea?
Okay po. It is proven that Ready Set Read videos from Security Bank Foundation Incorporation really help a lot in the learnings of our learners, especially in reading. Learners interact actively. Napakaganda po niyang gamitin kapag nagkaklase tayo. Let me end my presentation with a saying from John Holt. Learning is not the product of teaching. Learning is the product of the activity of learners. Have a good day. I am Milani Espineda. Thank you very much. Marami pong salamat.
Thank you so much, Miss Milani, for that presentation. We'd like to invite everyone to, for a few more moments, baka pwede po nating tingnan yung demo din ni Miss Milani using the Ready, Set, Read videos.
Good day, my dearest learners. Are you ready to learn? Today, we will be learning how to interpret pictographs. But before that, let us first recall what pictograph is. Pictograph is a type of graph that uses symbols or pictures in presenting data. It has a key that shows how many or how much each symbol stands for. This is an example of pictograph. This pictograph shows the number of books used in English, mathematics, science, and Filipino. As we can see, it uses pictures of books instead of simply showing the numbers of books used in each subject. For us to know more about pictographs, let us watch this video from Ready Set Read Grade 3 about pictograph. Based on what you have watched, what is the pictograph all about? Correct! The pictograph is all about orders of different flavors of pizza. Which pizza deliveries has the most orders? Your answer is correct. The cheese pizza has the most orders. Which of the flavors has the least deliveries? Very good. The answer is the plain pizza. Let us continue our lesson. We will going to study the pictograph below and answer the following question about it. Ramirez family donated face masks to their neighboring barangays as part of their advocacy to prevent the spread of virus. What is the title of the pictograph? A. Donated face mask of Ramirez family. B. Donated face mask of different barangays. Letter C. Donated face mask of Cruz family. Correct! The answer is letter A. Donated face mask of Ramirez family. How many barangays received donations of face masks? A. 4 barangays. B. 3 barangays. Letter C. 5 barangays. Very good! There are 5 barangays who received donation of face masks and they are Barangay Masagana, Barangay Pag-asa, Barangay Masipag, Barangay Matulungin, and Barangay Payapa. How many boxes of face masks did Barangay Pag-asa receive? A. 40 boxes. B. 30 boxes. C. 10 boxes. Correct! There are 40 boxes of face masks received by Barangay Pag-asa. Which barangay has the highest number of face masks received? A. Barangay Masipag. B. Barangay Payapa. C. Barangay Masagana. You're right. Barangay Payapa has the highest number of face masks received. How many boxes of face masks did the Ramirez family donated in all? A. 270 boxes. B. 200 boxes. C. 220 boxes. Very good. Ramirez family donated 270 boxes of face masks. Let us proceed to another activity. Nico saves some of his daily allowance to buy gift for his parents' anniversary. He keeps saving money every week for 6 weeks. What is the title of the pictograph? Correct. The title of the pictograph is Nico's Savings for 6 Weeks. How much did he save in week 3? Correct. Nico saves 500 pesos in week 3. Which week did Nico save the same amount of money? Very good. He saved the same amount of money in week 2 and week 5. Which week did he save the highest amount of money? Correct. In week 3, Nico saves the highest amount of money. How much is his total savings for 6 weeks? Very good. Nico's savings for 6 weeks is 1,900 pesos. All your answers are correct. Good job! Always remember, pictograph is a type of graph which uses different pictures in presenting data. It uses symbols, pictures, or images that represent a given number of objects. It uses a key to show what or how much each pictures represent. Thank you, my dearest learners. I am your teacher, Melanie, saying good day and God bless.
Thank you so much, Ma'am Melanie, for that very wonderful sharing of your best practices at Santa Rita Elementary School, as well as your video demo. Now, to proceed with our program, may we invite Ms. Amy De Coco of the Ateneo de Manila University for our Q&A and synthesis.
Thank you very much, Sir Kim. So good noon po everyone. My name is Ami. I'm from the Ateneo Center for Educational Development. I will be moderating the Q&A and I will be giving a quick synthesis of our session towards the end. In preparation po for the synthesis session and while we are doing the Q&A, I would like to share with you the link to our Padlet. Okay? Please click on this link, the one that I posted in our chat box, and I will also share my screen. I want to show everyone our freedom, kumbaga para siyang wall po, no? This is where can you see my screen po? I'm not sure if it can be seen, Sir Kim.
Yes, ma'am. Kita naman po. Kita.
Okay,
Can...
sir. Thank you po. Ayan po. So, this is the ano po, this is the QR code just in case you also want to access it using the QR code instead of the link. Pero I'm seeing po na people are logging in, no? So, there, no? So, you will find 3 questions there that we would like you to answer. No? You can be as creative as possible when answering the Padlet question. So, there are options there that you there to post of course text, an image, or even a video, no? So, this is so everyone has a chance to be heard, even if you won't be able to raise your question during the Q&A, no? So please input your answers in the Padlet while we're having the Q&A session, okay? Ayan, so I can see po, no, so that responses are coming in. So keep them coming po while we're doing the Q&A, no? Okay, so for the Q&A, you may type your questions or comments in the Q&A feature of our Zoom webinar app, no? And may I also invite si Ma'am Erica and Ma'am Melanie onto our virtual stage for the Q&A. There, so you can for the Q&A, you can raise your hand or you can also type in your questions in the chat box as well. So you have different options po. Or if you raise your hand, we can also unmute you so we can hear from you po. We have questions po. Wag pong mahiya. Wala pong reason para mahiya. This is a very ano po safe space for us to learn from each other, no? Lalo this Saturday morning. So please, wag pong mahiya if you have any questions, comments, even comments po, would be very happy to read your comments as well.
Ma'am, siguro we can also show the screen because I think what they're seeing right now is the
Is the QR
QR
code
code.
lang,
Yes,
sure.
yes,
I'll
yes.
stop muna. All right. I'll show the Padlet screen. Sir Kim, you want me to show the Padlet
Yes,
screen?
yes, ma'am. I think
Okay.
that might
Sige,
help
I
kasi
think
baka some of us might not be able to access it.
sure. Mhm. Okay. Okay po. So there. So we can look at the third question for the Q&A, no. What is your single biggest takeaway? So we can also glean some comments here from this particular column. The steps in teaching reading and interpreting graphs and some of the best practices of Santa Rita. Ayan, ayan po. At least you were able to gain an appreciation of what their best practices are in Cabiao, Nueva Ecija po, no? Even if we're all, nakita ko po, some of us are all the way from Davao, Bacolod, kahit malayo at nasa Luzon, ay, na ano pa rin natin, nasilip pa rin natin kung ano po ang best practices ni na Ma'am Melanie sa Cabiao. I learned about Ready, Set, and Read, of course, no? And kitang-kita po how the videos were used in the schools po, no? Ito po, Ma'am Erica, teaching graphs and tables is not a simple matter of pointing out information, but instead there are steps and strategies to be kept in mind. It's very correct, no? Naalala ko nga po, a lot of the teachers here enjoy teaching pictographs and graphs, no? But we also have to ask the important question, um how how are our students learning? Are they retaining the information? No? So it was really the explicit teaching of the parts of the graphs is also important to focus on. Focusing and teaching reading the table graphs, of course. Fun learning. Thank you po for posting the cute picture po. Graphs reading. How to effectively reinforce the competency as well as the audiovisual presentation that we could use. Ayan po. So we also saw po no yung what Ma'am Erica taught us no na yung the theoretical of teaching graphs and pictographs and how it is being done on the ground when we saw it on when Ma'am Melanie showed us her demo and how the students were responding using the videos no about the graphs and the pictographs. Yeah, the Ready Set Read enlightens me. The new learnings, thanks a lot. Teaching reading using graphs can be fun for kids. Of course, I agree po. Ayan, so teaching reading tables and graphs, using Ready Set Read videos via YouTube that help students to learn more. Ayan. Thank you po to Security Bank Foundation for providing these videos. My biggest takeaway is to make graph presentation simple yet meaningful wherein learners make use of its relationship to their life. Ayan po. Pinakita nga rin po ni Ma'am Erica yung practical applications ng reading graphs, especially when it comes to mga current events and mga issues in society po, no? Interpreting graph and how to teach pictograph effectively. Ayan. Ayan, ito po, reading within and beyond is a shared responsibility of teachers. Ma'am Erica, if you'd like to to comment, feel free to to jump in anytime, ma'am, no, as I read the comments. Baka gusto niyo po, ma'am, mag-elaborate on the comments and to add more insights po on their responses. Go ahead lang, ma'am. Ayan, so reading within and beyond is a shared responsibility of teachers. It is not simple to teach, but we can use the strategies we gathered from the speaker. Okay. Learners learn best in various activities suited to their level. Teachers are always ready to guide and help learners with the partnership of different stakeholders. Ika nga po nila, it takes a village to raise a child. That's why we're all here. People from Ateneo, people from Security Bank, and our partner schools. Ayan, sama-sama po tayong nagtutulungan para po maiangat ang state of education in our country, especially considering ang ating PISA results, which was mentioned by Sir Kim and Ma'am Erica, no, na needs a lot of improvement po. Yan. Crafting higher order thinking questions. Reading graphs explicitly. Nakitang-kita po na that you were really able to retain the important points that Ma'am Erica shared with us based on the single biggest takeaway that you are sharing with us this morning. So we need to focus on the whole and higher order thinking questions. Very important to attain great progress on learners' intellectual ability. Yeah, brace yourself. Exciting times ahead. Totoo po, no? Talagang with everything that's going on, all the changes, no? At least po Very excited po. At least po we have all these enrichment activities that Ateneo and Security Bank has for us. Even if we have to wake up on a Saturday morning, alam po natin mga errands day natin yan, dear teachers, mga chores natin sa bahay, pero we're still making time. No? Thank you po for being with us here. Teaching graphs effectively and use ready set videos. Yan. Teaching English and how to integrate it with different subjects. Of course, we all yun na banggit naman po yun ni Ma'am Erica kanina. So it's good that you were able to really take this to heart po, ma'am. Making higher thinking questions based on the tables and graphs. So ayan, I think po all the salient points po we were able to really retain them and share with us what you were able to learn, no? So we're ano po, no, we're transitioning now to the synthesis part of the program, no? So I just wanted to also take a cursory glance, no, on your answers pagdating sa where you are joining us from, no? Marching capital of the Philippines. Ano nga po ba ang marching capital? From the marching capital of the Philippines, meron po tayo Masbate, Sorsogon, Siquijor, Davao. Katulad nga po ng sabi ni na Sir Kim at Ma'am Erica, we are all over. We are from all over the Philippines. Davao, Pagadian, Davao. Marami-rami po tayo from Davao dito. Ozamis, Mindanao, Batangas, Davao, San Pablo, Masbate, Dagupan, Davao, Quezon Province, Camarines Norte, Leyte. Ayan po, no. Kitang-kita naman po, no, ito po ang nakikita kong silver lining of the pandemic, no, na we are able to come together despite the distance. We're able to learn together and from each other. We're able to see the context of our fellow teachers. We're able to hear from Ma'am Erica, who's from Ateneo, and we're able to hear from Ma'am Melanie, who's all the way from Cabiao, Nueva Ecija. And si Ma'am Melanie, as we all know, is from Cabiao, and we were able to gain an appreciation of her best practices despite the distance. So thank you po for joining us from all over the Philippines po. Kapag face to face, I don't think we will be able to reach this this yung ganitong reach in the Philippines. So ayun, it's good po that we're able to reach out to different provinces and cities po, or MOOC, ayan, Mandaue, Bulacan, ayan po. So thank you
Ma'am
po for
Erica,
joining us.
ma'am, may question pala dito. It was sent to me lang. Ang question niya ay, how do I know if I am making higher order thinking questions? I think ang gusto niya talaga maybe you can give us tips on how to make higher order thinking questions for tables and graphs.
All right. Sorry. Hello, can you hear me po?
Yes po.
Ayan. Thank you for the question po. So, any question that's not within the text or within the graph, within the table, that's a higher order thinking question po. So, yung mga keywords po dyan, yung predict or evaluate, ganyan, or for example, predict, evaluate, draw conclusions. You're taking it as a whole na po. So you're not asking for noting detailed information based on the text, okay, or the graph. Yun po. So higher order po siya kung pinapag-interact nyo na or you're looking beyond, looking for relationships between the data. Kasi yun po, yun po yung not within the text anymore. Kasi kunwari po, I was thinking a while ago po, parang ano bang mga practical applications pa that we can make students interact with tables and graphs. So for example po, ang naisip ko po, kunwari yung report card ng mga estudyante, di ba? That's a document that they receive every quarter, di ba? Pero how often do they actually interpret their grades? So your noting detail question can be something like, anong grade mo, anong nakuha mong grade nung fourth quarter? Ganyan. So for example, makita mo yun, that's a noting detail question, okay? By looking at the table, which is the report card, an authentic document. But the higher order thinking question can be, For example, would you say that you are better in English or in Filipino? Those are the two languages, di ba? Ganyan. So yun po, more, higher order na po siya kasi you're thinking about, kasi hindi naman nakalagay yun sa report card, di ba? Unless siguro nakalagay yun sa comments ng teacher, di ba? Na mas magaling po siya sa English than in Filipino. But considering that table of information alone, the students should be able to see na, ay, parang pareho lang naman. Okay, pareho lang naman yung skill ko in English or Filipino. So yun po, as long as it's not stated in the text, okay, and you're making inferences, you're predicting, you're drawing conclusions, that's higher order na po. Yun. Tapos naisip ko rin po pala kanina kasi I think there was one, may nakita ko na parang yun nga, application nga in real life. So I don't know how, baka masyado ng higher level ito, okay? Higher or baka masyado na siyang, pero an authentic text again where you can see a simple bar graph. Okay, I don't know if may access ba ang mga estudyante natin sa Meralco bill nila, 'di ba? Kasi may bar graph doon, 'di ba? Sa 'di ba? Kita halatang-halata ba na tinitingnan ko kasi yung bar graphs ng electric consumption ko. But at least even though they don't know for example kilowatts pa or wattage or ganyan-ganyan, but there's already information there, yung months and yung kilowatt consumption, baka pwede nyo na lang i-explain yon, mas madalas kang gumamit ng kuryente, and then yun. So those are some authentic texts perhaps that you can make your students use aside from yung mga usual na yun nga, mga favorite color, wala naman po masama doon. Those are the things that make teaching fun, di ba? Kung pwede magpa-survey ka on the spot, whether online or face-to-face, tas gawa kayo ng bar graph or pictograph on the spot, di ba? But if you want realia, so to speak, yun po yung naiisip kong accessible, perhaps yung report card nila mismo, or baka gusto nyo gumawa ng report card ay ng table ng scores nila in English lang, ganyan. So yun po. So going back to the question, if it's not within the text, okay, it's not explicitly stated in the text, that's most probably a higher order thinking question po.
Thanks po, Ma'am Erica. Sir Kim, may iba pa pong questions na pinadala sa inyo directly ang ano, kasi sorry, I'm not seeing the chat box or the Q&A from my
I
end.
think na-direct sa akin yung question dahil as So, thank you Ma'am Erica for that, no. So, may isa din na nagko-comment sa atin ngayon, sila Ma'am, na I think it's also highly encouraged to ask students to create their own questions regarding the presented tables and graphs. So, I think baka maganda din yun na hikayatin daw sila na magtalang talaga. Ito ngayon po, may isa from Ma'am Rachel Ariola. I'd like to ask sana suggestions on interventions that can be made for learners who are in the full refresher level. I think totoo po to kasi naninibago ang mga estudyante ngayon. So as we start our face-to-face classes, I found out that more than half of my 45 pupils are very low in reading. This is why I had a hard time of teaching them the concept of interpreting tables and graphs and other very important concepts in English. So I think Ma'am Milani and Ma'am Ikay, kayo po pareho, you have experience with this. Please feel free to answer. Pareho po kayo.
Sige po, ako na po mauna. On the very low level po, or refresher level, the easiest thing po is keep it simple. Yeah, I mean, I think it was mentioned a while ago. Keep it simple, like kunwari yun nga, favorite color, and then you color-coded talaga yung mga graphs, ganyan. Very limited words, very easy concepts, very tangible concepts to grasp, ganyan. So that will make it easier. Hindi po magiging problema masyado yung reading kasi konti lang yung words na babasahin nila, di ba? Or basta numbers lang kasi siya. So keep it simple, keep the topic simple. And again, dito po uli papasok yung sinabi ko na yun, very explicit teaching of what are you looking at? Pag nakita nila yung table na yan, ano yan? Ano yung mga lines na yan? Ano yung mga numbers na yan? So something very simple that keep the topic very very simple. Okay, as little words as possible, ganyan, para mas madaling maintindihan. Images, pictures, kung hindi talaga marunong magbasa. Kunwari yung topic natin kanina, kunwari favorite fruits. So instead of yung sa x-axis or yung horizontal line mo is nakasulat apple, edi picture ng apple yung ilagay mo doon kasi more often than not mas naiintindihan ng student yon. So I think that's one of the things that we can do if talagang hindi nakakabasa, kung hindi marunong magbasa or hindi pa magaling magbasa, but since they are even though hindi pa magaling magbasa in English, okay, you can still do something to make them understand what's happening in that unique text. So yun po from my end. Baka po mas may iba pang strategy si Ma'am Melanie.
Yes po, sa amin naman po as a grade 3 teacher, para po mas madali nilang maintindihan even if they cannot read, use stories. Mag-story then bago ibigay yung lesson. Kasi kung mapapakinggan po nila yung story kahit di nila mabasa at sabi nyo nga po, gumamit ng pictures and symbols, mas madali po nilang masasagutan yung graphs and pictographs. Yun lang po.
Thank you so much, Ma'am Ikay, and thank you so much, Ma'am Milani. So for those two techniques, using of pictures, at siguro nga baka ang sinasabi din ni Ma'am Lani is that when you tell a story, sabay-sabay nila i-fill up yung yung table.
All right. Po, I'm checking the chat box po for more questions. Yeah. All right po. So thank you po for everyone's comments, whether sa chat box, sa Padlet, or sa Q&A feature ng ating Zoom app. Yung next question na I would like to look at, actually this is the last one na kasi we already looked at yung our single biggest takeaways. Ang question ko, how soon can you use the information from this webinar? This coming week already, soonest for this school year and in the future. This is we can use this on Monday. Ang galing, o, diba? Monday, agad. O, diba? At least very relevant po. Following school year, some, okay, no problem po as long as magamit. Yun naman po ang hinahanap natin. Excited to use this coming week. We're so very happy to learn na you will be able to use the strategies as soon as possible. As soon as I am a teacher, okay? So baka some of our participants are still students, baka po the following school year, this coming week, right away. We're so happy for my second CO this May. Okay, fourth quarter. So we're very happy to see na most of you will be using the information here as soon as possible. Since I'm already using some of the information, I will continue using those, and other new information, I will use them before the end of the school year. Okay, we still have 2 to 3 weeks before this school year ends sa inyong school calendar. Okay. Teaching is best from simple to complex. Thank you po. Soonest possible time. Soonest. And yun nga po, I know we're very happy because the reason we are asking this question is we are really going the extra mile to make sure that the interventions that we are providing are relevant. Diba? For your information po, the topics that we covered this morning were not chosen at random, but we determined these topics from the FGDs. I'm not sure if some of you were able to join the FGDs that we conducted with you. So we hope that out of all the webinars that we have that are available, ours will stand out, and more importantly, will be relevant and worth your valuable time, especially alam nating mahalaga ang ating weekends, no? So we really hope that this is worth your Saturday morning. And kitang-kita naman po sa ating mga sagot na worth it naman po ang paglaan ng oras this morning, no? So thank you for all your honest feedback and responses. No, we have taken note of all of these, and we hope to capture more details in the feedback form that you will accomplish later, that we will share the link with you. No? So thank you for spending your Saturday morning with us. No, this group's desire to improve the quality of education in your context is very evident, and we hope to be able to say, no, lalo na po siguro in the future, no, kapag nag-improve na, why not ang mga results natin sa PISA, no, someday we'll be able to say, kaya pala mataas, kaya pala magaling ang school na yan. Kasi SBFI partner school sila. So we hope to be able to say that, to declare that out loud in the future. No? So thank you for continuing to work with us, Security Bank Foundation and the Ateneo Center for Educational Development. No? So over to you, Sir Kim, for some announcements.
Right. Thank you so much, Miss Amy, for that. We'll now proceed to our next steps. Let us just give me time to share my screen. We're just asking for the assistance of the technical team to set up our announcements. All right, as mentioned prior to the start of this webinar, we'd like to ask you to accomplish the post-training evaluation form to earn a certificate of attendance. Please kindly refer to the QR code projected on the screen or to the link which can be found on the chat box. Please accomplish this within the day. Note that the evaluation combines the post-training participant assessment, yun po yung exam, where you need to get a passing score of at least 70%, and your personal evaluation of how the training has been conducted. You may also take a screenshot of this slide right now. Our next steps are as follows. Some of you have already said that you're planning to use this webinar immediately next week. So prior to having them watch the Ready, Set, Read videos, we'd like to ask you to administer the pre-test to your students on or before May 16 to 20. So pwede po kayong earlier if this is something that you think you'll be using by next week. Please use it on a minimum of one class of 40 students. Should you have a smaller number of students in one class, you may provide a class list certified the principal to support your documents. The airing schedule of Ready, Set, Read videos will also be on the dates which you are now seeing on the screen. So these videos can be found on cable TV via the Knowledge channel, or you can also watch it at A to Z. If you'll notice that we actually have two topics for grade 3. One is for graphs, tables, and pictographs, and the other one is inferences and conclusions. Alternatively, you may also download this at bit.ly RSR videos. You may also take a screenshot of this slide right now. For documentation, within the next month, please take photos or video clips of you and your students using the Ready, Set, Read videos and submit these through our post-training monitoring and evaluation form at bit.ly RSR G3 documentation. We will select 5 teachers with the best submission in our post-training monitoring and evaluation form to win a monetary incentive of at least 500 pesos per person. You may take a screenshot of this slide right now. On June 13 to 17, we will be issuing a post-test as part of our monitoring and evaluation of the videos. Teachers who will participate in the pre-test and the post-test will have a chance to receive the following rewards. 3 teachers, 1 from Luzon, 1 from Visayas, and 1 from Mindanao, who have the most number of exam takers will receive a prize of 2,000 pesos each. And 5 teachers that have the highest average score of all students administered nationwide, but with a minimum average that at least must be 80%, minimum again of 40 students, these teachers will receive also a prize of 2,000 pesos. So if any teacher meets both requirements, he or she has the most student takers and her student takers have the highest general average, he or she may receive the full amount of 4,000 pesos. You may take a screenshot of this slide right now. Can I also ask our teachers to please give a virtual thumbs up or a thumbs up emoji on the chat box to signify that you have understood our instructions? Can we do this now, please? All right, so very clear po. Again, our next steps and our activities are as follows. May 16 to 20, our pre-test. You may do this earlier. Our post-test will be on June 13 to 17, and our documentation will be submitted on or before June 17. Again, we are projecting the schedule of our next steps. And also, you may download our teacher's kits, which consists of the following: today's lecture, the event slide, the learning videos, and the teacher's guide. We have also already included a manual sample of the pre-test so that you can study it before applying it or having it administered to your students. We'd also like to invite you to the following seminars which completes this webinar series. Kanina po sinabi po na isa nating teacher that one of her concerns was that some of our students are really having a hard time with reading. We highly recommend teaching at the right level, which will be on the 30th of April. Please feel free to register at bit.ly rsr2tarl. And also to complete our RSR videos, please also register on October 1st for the Ready, Set, Read for Grade 5 teachers. You may take a screenshot of this slide right now. Please know that every webinar grants participants a certificate of attendance, while teachers who have joined us since our Ready, Set, Read webinar on Facebook and who will attend our seminar on teaching at the right level will receive a certificate of completion. English teachers who will implement the impact assessment to at least 40 students of their grades 1, 3, and 5 can also earn an additional certificate of impact assessment, plus get a chance to earn monetary incentives. We look forward to seeing you in our upcoming seminars. We would also like to offer this chance for our public schools in Cavite to be our next beneficiaries of a 2-story school building. We have the following requirements. If your school has a student population of at least 1,000 and has a lot allocated along a main road or highway, then apply now by submitting the requirements online as you can see on the screen. To be regularly updated with our upcoming training programs and other initiatives in education, please follow our Facebook page at facebook.com/securitybank. You may also join our Facebook group at facebook.com/groups/SBFI webinars. This is also where we release our certificates. Subscribe also to our YouTube channel and share our Ready, Set, Read videos for students at securitybank.com/c/securitybankfoundation. Or you may also visit our webpage for Ready, Set, Read at securitybank.com/sustainability/educational videos. Again, thank you so much. This is Kim Validores of Security Bank Foundation saying thank you and keep safe. Maraming salamat po at magandang tanghali sa inyo lahat. So Rick, while waiting, can we also again project the screen so that our teachers can also see kung saan po nila pwedeng i-download yung kanila pong mga teacher's kit. Thank you.